Hello to everybody joining One Click Factory Central Eastern Europe Partners monthly discussion. By the way, this is the last discussion before we head out to summer. This is vacation time, and we decided we will make a short break before we return with a full strength for fall. The ones who are joining not for the first time already know the basic rules of this monthly event, monthly call. Please be as much engaged as you can. For that, we have various of options. In your right, you can see a chat button. Let's use chat right away. Please tell us where are you joining from. Do we have guests from Lithuania or maybe Hungary, Czech Republic joining? Please tell us where are you from, and then of course use the chat to express your view, to agree with panelists, to maybe disagree, to suggest your topics for the next discussions, and so on. Additionally, we have questions and answers section. So if you would like a question to be answered by panelists, especially if you have a technical question, because we have, as we promised, we have a technical expert, Andres, joining the panel. So if you have the question that you would like to be answered, please write it to the questions answer section, and we will make sure it is answered either within this hour or afterwards. And lastly, there is a handout session. For the handouts, we prepared, as always, we prepared introduction and a CSP acceleration program. If you are not our CSP, One Click Factory CSP partner yet, I would highly encouraging you joining the program. The program is free of charge for partners who are asking for basic support and guarantees the support of more than 100 experts on their guidance to cloud. Very shortly, I will introduce the panelists. As you see, we have a full house today. Just like always, we have a Microsoft representative joining, a partner representative joining, and then we have One Click Factory experts in the field who are ready to support you on the topic. And the topic that we chose for the closure of the year before we head for summertime is worth the closure. The AppSource. Where's my win? What are the challenges? How do I make sure that I'm successful with my solutions in AppSource? This topic has never been important as today. Of course, AppSource is the lead generation published by Microsoft, and partners who would like to be recognized by Microsoft and other partners and customers should be there. But now it's even more to this. If partners do not move their ISV solutions to AppSource by the end of 2022, there will be some obligations happening. And what are these? We don't know yet, but for sure, partners need to build their cloud strategy. And to start off, before I make an introduction, I would like to invite you for a quick poll. So if you are here, and if you are thinking moving your solutions to AppSource, what is the main reasons for this? Is it because you want to certify the solution? Or is it because you want to start selling solution in other countries? Is it because you want to decrease the implementation support costs, or maybe generate leads that is guaranteed by Microsoft, or maybe be recognized by Microsoft team? So what is the primary reason for you moving to AppSource? And very quickly, let's check the results. Of course, the results are changing. At the moment, I see that certifying solution is probably the primary reason, but okay, we have pretty equal results. That probably all the areas are equally important for partners. Great. I hope that you will find the session valuable, as we are going to dive deep into the primary, the business side, the technical side, the vision side, where Microsoft is going. And with this, let me introduce you to the panelists that I'm proudly to present. So first, Peter Kuna. For those who are not joining the session for the first time, or for the ones who have been in the Dynamics market for years, Peter Kurna name will be familiar. Peter has been with Microsoft for quite a long time, and he has been working with partners communities on various partner programs. Peter, very happy to have you on panel. So AppSource, would you say that partners from Central Eastern Europe, that is the partners that you are working primarily with, are ready, or do they still have any concerns?
Thank you for the question, Inga, and I'm happy to be with all of you. Thank you for everyone joining. AppSource, it is a very, very important topic at this point, and I would lie to you if I said that we do not get questions about it. Of course, it is still fairly new on the market. It is an approach that somehow requires fine-tuning and really a common understanding between ourselves, between our partners and our customers. But I would like to start with a statement that the AppSource marketplace is intended to be the one and only marketplace, both for partners, both for customers, and both for Microsoft internal people at the same time. So this is the main notion that I think you should keep in mind when you're considering what your approach should be. But of course, there are always question marks. Do I need to submit my application or my service? What should I submit? What would be the right ways and right approaches to go by the submission? How should I use these applications that I submitted? Is this my goal, or is this just a potential next step for me? These are the things that are most up and coming, and I hope we will be able to give you some answers as well to these questions today.
What about Central Eastern Europe partner applications? Do you think that there are enough solutions already on AppSource? Would you say that, or would you say that we still lack some understanding or some demand from partners?
In the reality, there is never such a thing as enough. If you as a partner do have an intellectual property or a service, let it be Business Central, let it be Power Apps, Automate, or BI, let it be Dynamics 365 other workloads, the best way for you to be visible, to start a journey, is to consider a publishing and a publication on AppSource. This is almost like a hygiene requirement for you to really be certified. And I've seen in the poll that it's a very interesting mix. I actually expected quite a different way of setting up the answers.
What did you expect, Peter?
I did expect the sell other countries part to be way higher, and all the rest to be way lower in ratio. So in terms of the strategy, I think certification, being visible, and really creating an aligned go-to-market strategy with the Microsoft internal teams is how the AppSource is supposed to work, and that is what we are investing in from Microsoft side as well.
Thank you. It will be very great to hear some insights on where Microsoft vision is and where partners should be investing and heading to. Our next panelist, Agnė Balkevičiūtė-Lajienė, that I'm very proud to present. She has been with One Click Factory with more than 12 years since One Click Factory was established. And during her career, not only she had helped partners understand the value of cloud, of help them realize why should they move to cloud, but also she had led quite many partners through that journey of certification, of moving solutions to AppSource already. Agnė, what would you agree with what Peter has mentioned, and what is your insights on whether Central Eastern Europe and Western Europe or North American or other countries partners differ, or is that anything unique about the Central Eastern Europe market?
Good day. My pleasure to join you today. As One Click Factory supports partners across the globe through their journeys to cloud and to the AppSource, we surely evidence different adoption levels within different regions. But for me, it is a very direct link between the complexity of the offering that partner has and the product availability in that specific region. because product availability leads to partner readiness and towards the customer demand that are very, very much connected. So therefore, there should be no surprise that, for example, Microsoft Business Central partners operating in North America and United Kingdom have their cloud offering very ready and are onboarding a significant number of SaaS customers already. On the other hand, Western European partners are catching up, and Central Europe, where Business Central availability delayed, will be much more efficient on their journey to AppSource, utilizing learnings and best practices. But I do support Peter's opinion that AppSource and path towards the AppSource is definitely one element of the hygiene to be successful in the future.
Thank you. And as always, we have a partner who is representing the true story. So Martin Opshal joining from Czech Republic for partner Allium. Martin, now the word is to you. So what is your experience? Can you introduce your company shortly, and what solutions have you managed already to prepare and certify for AppSource?
Yes, sure. First of all, I'm happy that I can share our experiences here in the panelists and with our partners. Allium as a company has a headquarters in Czech Republic, but we have several subsidiaries in Germany, in Switzerland, and in Romania. We have a couple of subsidiaries, but still we see us as a mid-size Microsoft partner. So not one of the biggest ones, but one what is quite good located in these regions. The payment solution what we have in the AppSource is basically the product information management built in the Business Central. Means that we are supporting the processes about the managing of the product data, how to publish it, how to get it from the suppliers, and how to publish it to customers. The solution. The first customer who used this solution, and this solution is built as a customization in the year in 2002 as a customization. Later on, we moved it as a module, and we got a certified for Microsoft Dynamics certification. And the AppSource is the next logical step for us, because yes, things is changing and we are moving to the cloud and all of this is new technology. So yes, for us, AppSource is at the first point. It's something what we should follow after the CFMD. So mainly for the certification.
How many solutions do you have on AppSource already?
2 or 3. Right now we are publishing a new one, so I'm not sure about the current state, but currently we have 2 or 3 solutions in the AppSource. The biggest part, what is on the AppSource since 2018, so quite a long time. But yes, every year we add a new one because of new things, new requirements from customers. So we are still working on it and publishing a new extensions to AppSource.
It will be very interesting to learn and your challenges that you had, and as well benefits. As we have talked before, I know that you have quite a lot to share from the true perspective, not really exaggerating the picture and saying, yeah, you should go there, but the true story of what Allium has experienced with AppSource. And lastly, let me introduce the technical guru that I already mentioned, Andrius Šyvas. Andrius has been with One Click Factory. He's our technical expert, and throughout the 17 years of his experience working with NEV and Business Central, now he's helping partners move to cloud, move to extensions, and of course certify their solution to AppSource. Andrius, you mentioned while we talked, when you mentioned that now, as Microsoft has announced that there will be changes regarding to AppSource, you are receiving quite many questions from partners. Is it correct to say that partners are a bit confused now, or not clear of what the regulations and certification is?
Yeah, so they are confused about what's going to replace CFMD program and how selling on-prem story will continue for the partners, as it's still the great source of revenue at the moment.
Okay, so again, for those joining, I would like to encourage, if you have a technical question, well, not really a technical business question as well, but the technical most importantly, because Andres is here, he will be checking the chat and he will be providing support. So I'm encouraging you to use that opportunity and ask Andres questions that are on your mind, the technical ones. And okay, basically we have three major topics that we wanted to dive deep during the session today. And first of all, it is the question, AppSource, why do I need it in the first place? What is my role? Why AppSource? Should I move there? And so on. Again, Peter, let's start with you. So Microsoft vision and partner story. Would you say that what is partners' role in all that? Are all the partners eligible for the AppSource? Should everybody build their strategy towards AppSource?
I would say it is definitely a strategic decision to make, and I would take even a step back and look at AppSource from a wider angle. As Inga and Andres mentioned, there are some uncertainties still about the Business Central involvement in the AppSource space. The announcement is not yet fully official. So you might have seen the blog post about the potential changes and the potential framework around Business Central, and you can expect that well ahead of time you will receive the exact details of how Business Central is enrolled. But AppSource has already been around, and we have experience around how to build your strategy around it with the Business Applications ISV Connect program for the other Dynamics and Power Apps workloads, and also with now being able to publish consulting service offers worldwide, not only in selected markets. So in turn, AppSource can be a really interesting strategic element. And I would say there are three cornerstones that you need to consider when you evaluate whether or not you want to push and publish to AppSource. One of the first ones, which I'll start with the most important one, is customer discoverability. The way how Microsoft is promoting the ecosystem and the way we operate towards customers is through AppSource. That's our main marketplace. So if you have a listing, if you have a consulting service, if you have your intellectual property listed there, you are involved in all of those lead and opportunity generation motions, awareness campaigns, and just in general, you are there on a Microsoft certified site. And you can use this fact and the listing however you wish to do so. The second point would be not only the customers, but the Microsoft internal team discoverability. What I hear a lot of times, and this is not only a Central European notion, is that partners are looking for more and more ways to connect with Microsoft. They're looking for ways to be engaged with the internal teams. Let it be an actual opportunity. Let it be a broader sense. Having a listing enables you to be visible on a Microsoft internal facing marketplace as well. Just think about it. A Microsoft seller sitting in one of the countries where you may not be local, what is their best option to get to know about you? Well, they are using our internal toolset, and the internal toolset is feeding off of AppSource. So if you have something relevant, that may be your best way to get there. And last but very much not least, AppSource you should consider not as an end goal, not as a destination, but as a hygiene and a very important milestone in whatever strategy you would like to implement. By having a listing here, you will become Microsoft certified, and you will have access to certain things that you can implement and embed in your strategy. Easiest thing being that you can just use it as a marketing motion, that you're a Microsoft certified partner and that you have a listing here and you can refer your customers to your AppSource link, alleviating some of those discussions whether or not your ISV property is really up to speed and up to the task. But furthermore, going into more of the operational things, having a listing here and having been registered on the Partner Center platform of Microsoft enables you to take part in the proactive lead sharing, both inbound and outbound, towards Microsoft, and the other way around. That is all also built on the AppSource platform. So in short, it is worth considering this AppSource first strategy, not AppSource only, AppSource first strategy, if you wish to really be engaged in any way, shape, or form with Microsoft or with Microsoft's partner network. But again, you may decide not to have everything up there. You may have some services and things that you feel like you want to just do in a very small manner. You want to pilot. Not everything needs to be up there, but if you implement some things that you really want to build a scale motion upon, AppSource is the way to go.
Okay, Agnia, what would you add to this, to what Peter shared? Because, well, you have been working with quite many partners. Would you two agree that AppSource is for everybody, or just like Peter is saying, sometimes you need to evaluate, maybe to start slowly, maybe to some solutions? What is your view?
Oh, this is an excellent question. By all means, I support the idea that cloud plays a significant role already and will continue in the future. Therefore, to succeed, we have to differentiate and to be efficient. And cloud-ready intellectual property is the way forward. And if we have cloud-ready intellectual property, it has to be placed on the AppSource, right? So if Peter is saying, consider AppSource as part of your strategy, I would say make sure AppSource is part of your strategy, because offering on an AppSource is your statement, whether that's, an extensive offering or just a small first step, it is a statement already that your organization has a cloud strategy, and therefore it would be very helpful when someone evaluates your organization for either purchase or partnership building, perspective. I agree with Peter as well that it dramatically increases visibility within the potential customers, but as well within Microsoft, where we want to have a relationship with Microsoft. We want to have friends within the Microsoft organization so that they could refer a potential customer to us when we are a good fit for that potential customer. As well, AppSource adds a dramatic credibility. We need some kind of a third-party validation that the things that we are providing are of a quality. And this, having an offering on the AppSource, it provides that credibility that offering is tested and validated by Microsoft, right? And I like the beauty of the trials. Now Microsoft funds the trial infrastructure, and we can design customer acquisition journeys, including trials as part of the journey element, right? And besides all of those, marketing and sales pieces, if we are aiming to onboard customers within the cloud, AppSource or deploying apps via the AppSource is much more efficient and easier way to deploy and maintain solutions. But of course, there is a but, right? There is a but on the cloud strategy itself and on the success and on the repeatability where you are currently, right? If you as an organization have aims to onboard, let's say, few customers per year, and they might be significant enterprise customers per year, maybe that's not a direction of the repeatable cloud solution, but rather an on-prem enterprise solution. So I would say that that we have to consider the size, scope, and the repeatability of the things that we are adding on the AppSource, and that we are planning to deploy and distribute in the cloud manner. Yeah, so that would be my point of view.
Thank you, Agna. And now, well, Martin, I promised to tell the real partner story. So, what was your story? Does that relate to what Agna and Peter were saying? You know, now partners will kind of will have to go to AppSource, but you didn't have to. You made that strategic decision long time ago. Once the AppSource was available, how was that for Alium? Was it easy just to say, yes, we are going to make that investment and we're moving there?
Yes, that's true, because our decision about AppSource was made in 2018. So that time Microsoft published the information that there will be not something like on-premise NAV anymore, and everything will go first in cloud. So there was a project, it's called, that time it's called the Project Madeira, or now it's called the Business Central. So that time we decided to go to AppSource because of we see a future in this. That time we had a solution what is certified for NAV, but of course also the company strategy, and this company strategy has been defined a couple of years before. We'd like to do more like selling our modules, selling our extensions, and not just providing the services, because we don't want to hire more people. We'd like to keep our company in the size as we are, but we'd like to see some additional income and some additional opportunity how to be more productive. And this is absolutely what Microsoft can offer us with AppSource. Yes, that time it's just the future. It's just the future, but the future now, after 2 or 3 years, it's a year. And yes, we are able to use the AppSource as much as we can.
Thank you. And now I see that we have questions coming in. Andrus, I would encourage you to check the questions sector and maybe answer some directly, but let's review on what partners asking at the moment. So there's a question from Micha. Is this session just about Business Central NAV or also relevant for other dynamic solutions? And Peter has already answered that it's for all solutions. I would maybe just add to this that yes, we have Andrus, who is Business Central expert on the call, and then we have Martin, who has experience of moving Business Central solutions to AppSource too. But nevertheless, Peter and Agna is representing all Dynamics solutions and business applications. So we at OneClick Factory have experience helping Power Platform partners as well, or finance and supply chain management partners to move their solutions to AppSource. So generally speaking, we have experts who are able to answer any question from any area that you would like, especially if it is business related site. So it goes for all there, but maybe a bit of more of focus because of nature of the panelists and the experts will be a little bit more towards Dynamics NAV Business Central. Okay, and then we have a question from Lucas. Hi, Lucas. Nice to connect with you again. Is it any recommended solution for managing the subscription billing to customers or via our partners? And I do see that Peter has answered that already. Andrus, would you like to answer that?
Well, I would like to hear more from the Peter, because it's a way long-awaited functionality or feature of Business Central by the Business Central community to be able to monetize or at least protect their solution from unauthorized use, which was the great problem from the start for the AppSource solutions. So great to hear that.
So yes, the intentions are there. We very much hear the feedback about partners wanting to have a platform where they can protect their intellectual property. Let it be Business Central, let it be a customer engagement app. There is a lot of engineering work behind this, and there are great minds who are figuring this out. And the code words here at this point of time is this ISV Studio. It is fairly new. It is in a public preview at this point, if I'm correct, but please don't quote me on that. And it is being developed heavily. There will be announcements about that. I'm sure of that, though I'm not fully aware of the full roadmap, but I'm aware of the intention that we would like to provide you all the necessary platform to make sure that you can protect your intellectual property and make sure that what is being paid is being used. So that's the general intention around roadmap, around the actual ways of how it's getting created. At this point, I cannot comment on this discussion.
And Peter, we have another question that is quite linked to that. Miha is also asking, what are the drawbacks of listing the app on the AppSource? And we did have that discussion of you that partners are commenting that is the revenue share 10-20% of all the apps still applicable. And you had some very good argumentation regarding that, but would you please take that question as well?
Sure, I was waiting. That's why I didn't type the answer, because I thought you will pick it up. So yes, indeed, there is a framework agreement called the Business Applications ISV Connect program. It applies to Dynamics 365 and Power Platform workloads. It does not apply to Business Central. So there is a differentiation here. The Business Central Publisher program is a different program, also placed on AppSource, but it will have its separate structure. The BizApps ISV Connect is a program for Dynamics 365, Power Apps, and Automate, and all the applications within this space. A lot of things are connected to the ISV Connect program. And of course, every time when we discuss, the first thing that I hear back is the 10 or 20% revenue share aspect. But this is not a 10 or 20% share program. It has a benefit structure, it has a technical background, the recertification process, and a lot of things behind. But for now, let's focus on the 10 and 20% piece. First of all, it is still applicable. We have a fair set of partners in the premium, the 20% tier, among them some from Central Europe as well. And there are multiple ways to go by this on the partner side. There are partners who consider this as an investment on their side to actually be engaged in a proactive motion of selling with the Microsoft teams. And there are some partners who recognize this as an access fee to the platform of the Dynamics portfolio that is being provided, and as a cost of the certification that Microsoft provides. And they just build in the extra 10% into their general pricing of the intellectual property. Now, one thing that I would like to highlight, if you have an application that falls under the ISV Connect approach, you have please make sure you understand and internalize the contract itself, because the 10 and 20% revenue sharing, I see in my discussion with partners, they usually think it is impacting more than it is impacting in the reality. This sharing fee does not impact licenses, does not impact one-time implementation fees, does not impact anything that is not your intellectual property that is being recurringly sold in those aspects. But coming back to the initial discussion, AppSource has different parts, a different program that is going to be announced for Business Central without this aspect, and the ISV Connect program will continue to run forward. And please make sure and stay tuned for Inspire, where usually updates and potential tweaks and new announcements may come about whether or not there will be updates into the benefit structure and into the program in general. I hope that helps. It is a very large topic. It requires a real strategic discussion, and I'm sure we can take that offline through One Click Factory as well if it needs to be.
Of course. And then we have Andrews. I'm not sure if it is more technical question or again it's business question. Can we use AppSource for our on-prem solution? So can you certify the solution, your on-prem solution?
So yeah, so probably there are two potential intentions of this question. So one is it possible to use the AppSource app for on-prem customers? So yes, it is, and it is like preferred way to use the same code base on the AppSource and on-prem. And probably the other part is, or the other intention is the distribution. Is it possible to distribute the solutions to the on-prem through the AppSource? And as far as you know, it is not possible at the moment, but Peter, could you confirm or deny about the current situation and the plans for the future?
I just had some issues with my technology and the multiple buttons to mute and unmute myself. AppSource is a cloud marketplace. In terms of the Business Central world, I'd like to say that we don't want you to only do cloud. The goal is to have an equivalent cloud offering to whatever you're also doing in on premises. And our ask and the strategy that we would like to ask you to come with us the journey on is to have a cloud first strategy. So let's say you create an intellectual property, or you have one that is already working great in a legacy environment. Now the Business Central Publisher program is about how to transform that into a cloud world where you can offer it on the modern technology platform, but still potentially have a fallback for your on-premise customers who, for any reason, may not be ready, may not be eligible for any type of cloud solution. For the other dynamics workloads and Power Platform, well, Power Platform, I guess, is straightforward. It's cloud only. And for the other dynamics solutions, it is also very much cloud first. And the certification that can happen, especially in the ISV Connect program, it only relates to cloud offers. But again, nobody stops you from actually implementing as well in the end on dual use right licenses. But the application, when it's getting certified, goes through cloud evaluation. So that's the main intention of the AppSource marketplace.
Thank you. Andrus, you wanted to comment?
Yeah, so maybe to summarize, so the on-prem use for the AppSource apps is byproduct of the cloud-first offering, not the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a fair summary.
Thank you. And okay, now let's move into the challenges, right? Another interesting dive deep. So what are the challenges? So Peter, you are talking to partners. So what are the first complaints or concerns that they have? What is it that they are mentioning that are stopping them to submit more solutions to AppSource?
So one thing that I want to call out, and I want to say, already sorry in the name of the complexity that we bring to the table, is that it's really not straightforward to go through the publishing process, especially if you haven't done it before. I promise that it is getting easier. We are hearing the feedback, and I'm in constant discussions with our corporate team, who is responsible for the experience on the publishing, to try and make it more condensed, easier, and just in general more user friendly. But in general, this is the biggest challenge and the biggest blocker that I see: the complexity, the level of detail, and just in general the process of publishing. What I would like to highlight here is that really this feedback is heard, and I went through myself the publishing process, so I have an account that I can like click through and get engaged into the at least the user experience process, not necessarily the validation and the uploading of certain solution packages. And based on that, I created a guide which can serve as a benchmark for you. It will not be applicable to everything. It goes through an ISV Connect intellectual property for a Dynamics 365 customer engagement solution. And it has some call outs about potential pitfalls, about potential things that you may want to know during publishing. It's a 10-minute-ish video, and you have it in the handouts section of this webinar. So if you ever find yourself lost or don't necessarily know where to start, that video may be a potential good guide. And hopefully with that one and with the details of publishing on the docs.microsoft.com site, you will be able to kind of unblock this. And again, I'm still aware that it is still a complicated process, especially for those who might not have any experience with it. and feedback is heard, appreciated. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible going on forward.
Agnia, from your perspective, what are your partners saying? And by the way, for those who experience complexity, just as Peter mentioned in the handouts, we put the materials that Peter prepared, the video where that can help you out as well. One Click Factory, it has out-of-the-box consultancy set. We have the set of 4 sessions, 2 hours each, to help partners understand what are the key things to learn, to know about before they start certification. Agnia is delivering those sessions, but what I would also encourage you, try the session. The majority of partners get value of the first session only. So meaning that we get together, we see what is the situation, we make a quick audit, and then we help them move right away, understand, and make it faster. So Agnia, from your perspective, out of these ready to go workshops that you deliver, what are partners mentioning?
Yeah, so we are tapping into this challenge, aspect. And Peter mentioned the validation and publishment process. But I would say, of course, it could be improved, but that is quite straightforward as soon as you understand where to find information about it, right? But then I'd say we need to think and to understand how will we be successful as we get a solution on the AppSource, right? So how will we keep up with Microsoft monthly updates? You know that Microsoft will be releasing or platform updates, right? What will be the sales channel? Will you reach out directly to customers? That is a lighter approach. Or are you planning to increase your reach and build partnerships and sell your solution via other partners, right? There is a question around the monetization that Peter nicely covered about the tools that Microsoft is to provide in the future. But it is really important to make sure that you protect your intellectual property from unauthorized use, right? So that only the one who is paying for the intellectual property can use that intellectual property. And then maybe last but not least thing is, how will you improve and how will you adapt the learnings of experience of your customers that are in the cloud? So meaning building all of the telemetry within your solutions so that you can improve and you can bring that better and better customer experience forward. So I'd say, even though the first milestone is to get on the AppSource, but while reaching out for that first milestone, we still have to have a plan on how we will be successful, while having the cloud offering ready.
Thank you. So Martin, now to partner stories. So what were your challenges? Because when we discussed, you put so nicely that, with the weird challenges we learned. So what were the challenges that you experienced and that some other partners might look after?
Yeah, just our experience is basically from year 2018, so really a couple of years ago. And to be honest, that time, not everything is prepared or well prepared also from the Microsoft point of view, because yes, everything is new and the processes, the technologies, the tools are building on our side and also on the Microsoft side. So one of our biggest challenge that time is to get the knowledge, to understand how the process looks like. I think that these days we are much better position than that years, because yes, right now we have knowledge, we are able to publish an extensions and packages nearly every new version every month, so we know how it works. And I'm pretty sure that also the new partners can get a much better support from the Microsoft side. But yes, this is one of our challenges at the time. The second one is that we had a quite big solution. In the Business Central, it is around 600 objects, so quite big. And now we have a new technology, new things, and first of all, we need to learn these things into our NAV developers. So for us, the first publishing, it was took about 1 year to rewrite this complete solution into the Business Central extension. Yes, we have to make, and this is a good time to redesign a couple of the things, because yes, before it's on-premise and NAV is on-premise, and now we need to think in the cloud environment, and this can bring some topics what needs to be solved on the technical background. So yes, let's say that this is two big challenges before we publish the solution. After we publish the solution, we realize another two. The first is that in the end, the AppSource is something what can manage or what can generate the leads. So we are getting the leads from the AppSource, and this process was new for us, because yes, before we are in touch with the customer, with a company, define the vision, define the requirements, prepare the demo, give them the demo. They decided yes or no, they want to use it or not. But now they are able to download the trial from the AppSource, and they can explore it by themselves. And to be honest, this is new thing, and I have to admit that there is also on our side, there is a couple of things what we need to improve to be better in this respect, because still in the selling process or in the marketing process, there is a way how to improve it and how to get better. Because
but this is a positive challenge, right?
Yes. This is our challenge in the company, how to think about the selling, about the marketing, and managing the leads and opportunities, etc. Yeah, and the last thing, when we got the first customer through the AppSource or using the extension from AppSource, is how to control the payment, how to control the things that they pay every month, and if not, then we need to be able to disable the extension and say to them that no, you need to pay first, and after that we will activate it again. And I will be really happy if Microsoft or when Microsoft came with some tools, some support, and it will be really interesting also for us. Right now we solve it easily. We just have a simple SharePoint site where we have all the licenses and somehow communicate and disabling the things in the Business Center if there is no payment, and it should be disabled. So yes, we have some work around, but it will be really nice to have some nice solution from Microsoft, because yes, I think that every partner will facing this issue when they have the first customer using the extension from AppSource.
Peter, maybe you would like to comment on this?
Yes, just I would like to comment just for clarity. Nothing that I say is an official announcement about any payment management solution at this point. Unfortunately or fortunately, I have no such authority within the company. But what I'm saying is that the feedback has been heard. The ISV Studio as a platform is intended for lifecycle management of applications, and it is currently being actively reshaped, developed based on partner feedback. So these are the things that I can already say and state.
Yeah.
And every announcement and everything around these programs I expect to happen on Microsoft Inspire, and on the further announcements potentially about the Business Central Publisher program. The same applies to your question, Dimitris. Indeed, I have heard the challenge. I do see potential showstoppers or potential things where we need to provide more guidance. I do not have that guidance at the moment in my hands, but again, we are doing this feedback session with our corporate stakeholders to ask for feedback and to ask for the step-by-step advice, what to do and how to really publish and how to manage all of those intellectual properties that you manage.
Okay, thank you. We have another question that I think is more directed to Andrus. Can I publish the solution as contact me and then deploy it to customers who contacted me? Andrus, we can't hear you. Technical issues, frozen silence, something what all presenters are most scared of, to kill the silence with something.
So maybe I'll step in for
Thank you,
Andres
Agnes.
here. Right, so contact me option is not a real option on the AppSource, I would say, right? It is a more theoretical option. And the reason for that is that Microsoft is striving to ensure a cloud journey for the customer, where the customer can start the trial experience or can experience the app as it is from the marketplace already, right? If there is a limited situation, or a need for a limited period of time to have an app on the AppSource because you are aiming for certain milestone, let it be an event, let it be your, I don't know, evaluation or something else. Microsoft is definitely listening into those cases. So if it is a short-term exception that is needed, that might be granted, with a good reason, but that is, not an option to have as a long-term option. And the short-term, meaning like a week, 2, right, until you fix the real trial experience.
Thank you, Agnia. We are getting out of time a bit, and I see Andres is checking his technical issues. We will come back with, because I had some other technical questions that I wanted to ask. But before we end, I would like to ask this primary main question because of which we organized the session in the first place. Dovydas from Columbus, the last time that we had him on the panel, challenged us saying, well, get us the partner and tell us where is the real win for the partner. So let's discuss the real win. What is the win? Is there a win for partner? Peter, I would like to start with you. So what is the actual, very tangible win that partners can experience right away?
So very, very good question. And really, I want to start with what I iterated a couple of times. If you're not here, if you're not on AppSource, you're not visible. So it's very straightforward in terms that that's the platform that we can refer to in this busy world where the Microsoft sellers and the customers do have millions of things to take a look at. But if I go into a bit more of the proactive and a bit detailed things, the Microsoft internal team, our sales teams, and everyone uses Dynamics 365 to manage our own opportunities. And in there, they have an obligation to attach solutions to their upcoming deals and opportunities, not partners, but actual solutions. And those solutions are being fed off of the AppSource publishing, whatever you put there. So that is the list that they can leverage for their own opportunities. And that is the thing that may eventually get into your own partner center as an outbound opportunity coming from Microsoft's side. So this can be one of the things. But again, it will not happen for everything. It will not happen automatically. You need to implement this into your own strategy. And how many and how much traction you get very much depends on how you approach this world. Just sitting down, having a listing on AppSource and waiting for something to happen will not cook your dinner for you. But if you have opportunities that you want to share inbound, if you approach proactively the people, and if you have that listing to back your claims up, then using multiple of these approaches together, reaching out to the people, sharing your inbound deals, being engaged in their events, it will generate demand and it will actually put you into the bloodstream. But on top of that, AppSource does act as a lead and opportunity generation platform. And there are solutions and partners who manage to benefit from this. It does very much depend on what the solution is. There are market enabler solutions, for example, on the marketplace. For example, where there is some legislation-related challenge in certain geographies, where a depersonalization of data is needed. Those plugins that are on AppSource, of course, do receive a lot of interest because whoever wants to implement some sort of a solution in that particular country and is aware of the legal requirements, they will need to solve it somehow, and they might not know it by themselves. If the solution is fairly general and may have hundreds of competitors, they will, of course, receive less traction. But if you find a very relevant niche or a very relevant market segment, then AppSource by itself can also work as a lead generation platform. But calling out on that, really, I do think that a proactive approach to the platform is the best. Use it as a tool, use it in your discussions, share inbound with Microsoft, let them pick up what you have created as opportunities, and let them also come back to you on the other end. Let's be proactive with each other, and let's make this a real partnership rather than just a thing that we need to check on a sheet of paper.
Thank you, Peter. Very good ending note. Very encouraging to hear. Agnia, what would be your 2 cents? Where's partners win?
We have been building a number of business cases with partners, right? About the potential growth, revenues, etc., right? And the demand that is coming, the cloud demand from the customers, right? But in reality, the real case is the risk mitigation. So will you stay in business in a longer period of time? Would you like to do business applications, not the year 2, 3, but maybe 5, 7, 10 in the future, right? If you are here for a longer period of time, then cloud first strategy is definitely the strategy to consider.
Thank you. And Martin, you mentioned you are receiving leads and then that you need to adjust your marketing mechanism. I am curious, how many leads through the period have you received so far already?
Yep. Let's say that we'd like to get approximately 30 leads per year, and we are on the good way to get this number this year. So yes, AppSource is one of our channel, not the main channel, because yes, most of the leads still coming using the website, using the search, and etc. But let's say that the AppSource is the channel where we can generate the second highest number of the leads for us. So it's quite important part of our strategy and part of our sales and marketing activities. And yep.
30 is quite much, if I understand correctly, right? Because it's the second channel for you.
Yes, exactly. And yep, so it means that it's quite important. And if we have a solution on the AppSource, I need to also mention one thing, because yes, every partner has some region has their own customers in this region. But when we publish our extension into the AppSource, immediately we get a lead in the new world. Means we got a lead from Asia, from Australia, from the US, and all of these leads I think that we got because of the AppSource, because of it's visible somewhere, but it's really the global platform where we can present where we can present the solution and the extension. And one more thing, and it's also good to think about it this way, because before we had CFMD as some kind of the certification. Right now, I think that this position is overtaken by AppSource. So when a customer or when a company wants to see some credibility of the solution, our answer to them is, look, here we are on the AppSource. So Microsoft takes care that we follow all the business or the best practices, that we had to submit a couple of the things that, for example, it will be upgraded to latest version, etc. But in the end, this is another argument in the sales process that yes, look, the solution is certified and you can use it as it is. And yes, there is a couple of, because we have a subsidiary, for example, in Germany, and they want to have some kind of the improvement from the third party. And for us, this third party is Microsoft with their AppSource. So yes, this is our, let's say, three topics where I see the win, why we, or the previews of the AppSource, and to have an extension of the AppSource.
And I think the last one that you mentioned is really important, something that you can verify. Well, if the customer has to choose one solution, not certified one, vs something that is certified and approved by Microsoft, where you know that all the regulations have followed, by all means, the credibility factor is something that customers find important. I would agree with you on this, that it's very important in the sales approach and in the sales process.
Yes.
Thank
yes.
you. Would you like to add?
No.
Sorry. Okay, Andres, are you back? Can we hear you already?
I hope you do.
Yes, we can. So when I made the mailing campaigns and invited partners to join, there were some questions that I put as we will give answers to. And one of those questions is, so are automated tests a must? As I understand, this is the most common question that we receive from partners. So what is the answer? Are they a must or are they not a must?
Well, they are not mandatory, but they are highly recommended. It's the same as asking the question: is it mandatory to lock your car when you leave? So it is not, but you can avoid a lot of trouble by doing that. So to adapt to frequently changing versions of Business Central, one option is to manually check each release and see if anything is broken. But that's very expensive approach. The other not expensive approach but risky one is just to cross the fingers and hope that nothing happens. But that could end up with pretty bad consequences. And third one is to automate all the validation process and have peace of mind, and also at quite low costs. So,
what about performance? Another question that we receive quite often is, so how do I assure that changes don't break the performance of my solution?
So the answer is the same. So if you would have automated tests, so it's very easy to see how long they run. If they run way longer than expected, so it could be a good indicator to investigate whether to optimize your code for better performance.
Okay, so thank you. I'm checking the chat at the moment. I see Dmitris had another question, and Agnia confirmed that his thinking is correct. The session, this last session before the summer, has ran out of the time. I would like to thank you all joining. If you need some support, please download the documents that we prepared for you to help you get on board with AppSource faster. Please request that if you need any help understanding the AppSource and what the next steps is, either from business perspective or from technical perspective, request the consultation, and we would be more than happy to help you get on board in the most fastest way. And lastly, of course, I would encourage you to join One Click Factory CSP program, acceleration program. We are not here to sell you CSP licenses, cloud-based licenses, but we're here to help you grow by assuring that you know the strategy, the vision, and that you can get the most out of your Dynamics business. Thank you, Martin, for joining. Thank you, Agnia, for joining. Thank you, Peter, Andres. It was a pleasure having you on board, and I hope that the partners who joined the session found it valuable. For those who missed the session, there will be a recording ready. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Have a great summer. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Have a great day.